did you think carbohydrate loading was before reading this article?
To me personally, I thought carbohydrate loading was just eating a bunch of pasta to feel full for my race the next morning, never really putting a purpose behind it before. In the article, what was studied and why?
This article focused on 8 healthy active females and the way carbohydrate loading before endurance exercise affected them. They used all female athletes in this study because the majority of carb loading studies have been focused on male athletes. Do you think carbohydrate loading is more effective before or during exercise?
I would think that carbohydrate loading would be more effective before exercise because the body would need time to break down the food into useful energy for the body to use. What do you hypothesize the effects of CES will be?
We hypothesized that in this study there would be an increase in endurance performance for the subjects that received the carbohydrate electrolyte solution compared to those who have received the placebo. In this study, what results were found?
It was found that subjects who were given the CES showed a significantly longer time until they reached exhaustion, an approximate 16% longer exercise time than those in the placebo group. This shows the CES helps replenish your body to reduce time of fatigue. Do you think this study has reliable data?
Because most outside factors were held constant during the study, I think this information is pretty reliable. The researchers had the subjects eat the same food 3 days prior to the test, they drank the same amount of water, and they had the same amount of exercise training. Although this study was well conducted, I wouldn't rely completely on the study's outcomes because of the lack of females studied on this topic. Have you ever tried carbohydrate loading, and do you think it affected your performance?
I have tried carbohydrate loading before, back when I ran track and cross country. Sometimes we would have pizza parties the day before a race, or even on my own I would usually have pasta the night before a race. I'm not sure if it had much effect because I usually always eat carbs and I never really tried to see how I'd perform without them. Now, after reading over the article, what is carbohydrate loading?
Carbohydrate loading is a strategy used by endurance athletes such as runners to maximize the stored glycogen in the muscles and the liver. What do you think carbohydrate loading is?
It's when before you exercise, you eat a bunch of carbs so you perform better.
Carbo loading is you load up on carbs for energy later.
Yeah, so I think carbo loading is just like when you eat a ton of like pasta or stuff heavy on carbs and you eat it like 2 days before you're doing whatever workout.
Okay, so I think carbo loading is just loading up on carbs to reserve energy for future activities.